this episode of Inspiration Nation. We've got a lot going on. We're going to get the LS2 installed on the car, and we're going to modify the trans tunnel, firewall, and get the roll cage bent up. That's a whole lot of hands in there. But we're going to make it all happen, and I'm going to make him do a lot of the welding too. So. Now we're going to be installing our Sharp Performance Holley Terminator Firewall flange. It's actually 3 pieces of aluminum. We'll mount the big piece in the back to the firewall and cut out the big hole. And then these 2 front pieces basically clamshell around your Terminator wiring harness. Gives it a really classy look on the firewall. And I definitely say that little firewall flange right there definitely adds a really nice touch. Now it's time for the roll cage. We don't have a bender here, so we're gonna slide over to our homie Perry's and get all the tubing bent up that we need bent and come back here and get it all welded in. So Wes.
If you break it, I'm filming it.
If any of you Conquest Star Young guys know how to get this piece off without breaking it, I wish you would have reached out before this video because I'm pretty sure this is going to break. It just is. So, if you are in the North Carolina area and you're a Conquest Star Young guy and you have some of these that are not broken, hit us up before SEMA. Now, cool little trick if you're pulling off any car door, leave it latched in the back, and then you can pull off all the bolts. Last one, put a little weight over the corner of the door. It'll drop a little. Grab the door. And the door.
So Barry, how's it going so far?
Life lesson learned. Before you mess with any roll bar tubing, wipe it down with some kind of acetone or something because it will kill a Sharpie. We have reverted to using duct tape and marking which side of the duct tape is going to be our center line or start the bend line. It's a lot of math, kids. Building race cars is a lot of math. If I would have known this, I'd have stayed in school longer. I know it's 5 inches too tall, but as long as these fit through. To have never done this before, I am pretty impressed with ourselves.
Yeah, I'd say that fitment's on point.
Like, this is the second piece of tubing we've ever bent. This is the first, and it's actually fitting. Granted, we used John's plans for the main hoop, but we still had to alter it because our car, I don't know, it just looked a little different. But this is like, wow. Now the challenging part, making it match the other side. All right, so it is really hot. Excuse all the leakage, but we have discovered the main hoop is the easiest bar because everything is bent straight. The pillar bars are a different story because you have the bend coming off the main hoop and then it kind of kinks out and then down. So you'll have one bend is off-centered, and the best way we figured it out is, you know, the passenger side is going to lean this way and the driver's side is going to lean this way in our tubing bender. But how we are eyeballing it is if you look down without falling. So if you look at how it comes up at an angle, and we're cross-referencing that between the roof line angle, and we're kind of sitting right here, turn, and winging it. And if you were building a roll cage, this tool is fantastic. Some kind of roll bar squared, it's adjustable, and it's the right width as the bar, so you can kind of lay it there. This is a must. This is the biggest must. This is the second must. They need to be on the same shopping cart when you buy them. So now that we got it all bent up at Perry's and we're back here at our shop, we got to roughly install the cage, mark where the tubing is going to hit the floor so that we can use our 2-inch hole saw and hole saw down through the floor so we can weld the top portion of the roll cage. It's kind of a weird thing. You hole saw it, slide a plate underneath it, weld the bottom, pull the plate out, drop it down into the rocker panels, weld the top, pick it up, put the plates back, weld it all in. It'll make more sense when we're doing it. All right, so now that you got the tubing in, you want to mark around it where you can do your hole saw. Now what happens is if you have it like this, you will not be able to weld the top portion of the roll cage. So you take a hole saw and then the roll cage will essentially drop down into it. And then you have this much space up top to get all the way around and make sure you weld everything thoroughly. And then all you do is add a piece of plate steel underneath it, typically a 12-inch square. 12 square inches is what they ask for, but we're going to do a nice big steel plate here and plate it all in and make it strong once it's back up in location. So we're not gonna hole saw the back after further consulting. We realized that it's right where the rocker panel and stuff ends, and it won't drop down in the rocker. It'll be kind of half in, half out. So what we're gonna do is tack weld it in place, and then we'll drop the front down, which will lean the main hoop forward and allow us to weld the top of the bar. And then we'll just plate underneath it. So we won't be hole sawing the rear. All we did was hole saw the front. Hopefully that will be enough. Is this thing gonna fucking shock me? So now what we're gonna do is we've got our holes and our measurements and everything. We're gonna give it a tack to hold it in place so that we can make sure all of our bars are tweaked and pulled tight with no gaps. Please don't shock me. Please don't shock me. Please don't shock me. Ooh. Bet your cameraman don't double as a welder. Ooh. Now if you're wondering why we're TIG welding over MIG welding will be a lot faster, but it's also a bit dirtier. There's a lot more splashy, sparkly things that go everywhere. And we really wanted it to be super pretty, so yeah. And we gotta give Wes something to do. Now that Wesley has all of the bottom of the roll bar tubing welded, we'll remove these plates up here in the front and let it set down in the rocker panel and essentially lean the whole cage forward and drop it away from the roof so we can weld the rest. Now it has dropped far enough down that he'll be able to get up in there and weld it all the way around. That one's still gonna be a pain in the ass. So this is neat. He's actually looking through the windshield to weld the top of the bar. Ah, I shouldn't have looked at it. My squinties didn't work. This segment is brought to you by Bad Dog Tools, the makers of the best damn cutoff wheel on the whole planet. And now there's a lot more space to get the welding done. Not gonna lie, it's not fun being the hand me and the go get me guy.
Oh yeah?
It's really not. See right there? That's the real reason why we got Wes welding. Because all this don't fit there like that. And there you have it, guys, the install of the roll cage in the Conquest. We want to thank our homie Perry for letting us play with all his cool toys. And as always, big shout out to Bad Dog Tools, because we are 68 days as of right now before this car debuts in their SEMA booth. So SEMA 2022, look for the Conquest completed. And with that being said, get out of here. We'll see you on the next one. Wait, I almost forgot. We just released our new shirts with all the cars from the channel. There'll be a description down, or a link in the description down below. If you want one, don't hesitate, get you one. Oh, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already following this monster to SEMA.